Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we are going to be doing another installment of the weekly meta breakdown where we do a deep dive in the best performing MTG Arena ranked ladder decks. And really these are just kind of a trend week to week in terms of what's the most popular, most efficient deck to get you to Mythic, to play in a qualifier, whatever it may be. This particular video is for standard best of 3. If you're looking for best of 1, if you're looking for Explore, if you're looking for Historic, there's different videos each week that we put up on the playlist. Easiest way to know when those videos go live is to subscribe to the channel. It's free. You get notifications when these new videos come up. And we get all the data from Untapped GG. It's what you see on the screen. It's a companion tool that runs alongside your Arena client. Tracks your win rates, loss rates, deck collections, a whole bunch of useful data that you can see here. So like we see collection tracking, it can suggest decks you can build, gives you wildcard counts, gives you vault progress, tracks all sorts of win rates. That's for a deck. One sec, this is my profile. You can see like win rates, most played decks. You can see a whole bunch of useful stats. You can see breakdowns in terms of matchup variation. You see like your win rates here. Cool thing is in best of 3, you can track to see, okay, these are what I added, this is what I removed. If you click into the game, you can see what your sideboard changes were for particular matchups if you want to review. If you want to see what your opponent was playing based on the game itself, you can see what cards showed up, so you can kind of replicate your opponent's deck. A lot of useful information to kind of help uplift your game status. So it's free to use, a whole bunch of this functionality. Link is in the video description below, so click that link, install it. Free to use on Mac and PC. Gives you a whole bunch of useful stuff. You can copy to MTG Arena, direct import of decks. I'll post these deck lists as well into the video description if you do want to just copy those, but install Untapped, super easy to use. And it really helps kind of just uplift your game. In any case, jumping into it, we are looking June 5th to June 12th, 23,000 matches played. So matches, notably best of 3, so you can look at 46 to 69,000. It's funny because this always falls in 69,000 as the top end. So it's a good amount. It's a nice amount of games played. Platinum to Mythic rank, because that's kind of the cutoff where a win and a loss counts for the same up or down. And we're going to jump in Temur Control. Kind of Temur mid-range is the top performing deck of the week, 61-ish, just scratching 62%. This is a red-green Izzet Splash Green deck. You got kind of a Dragons theme in it, and it's like a treasure theme as well. So you have your Goldspan, you have your Galazeth Prismari, and your top end is Titan of Industry, the big city elemental. It smashes, it crashes, blows things up, gains you life, creates rhinos, a whole bunch of stuff. You got your good dragon package. You have Fable the Mirror Breaker to ideally make copies of like Titan or Goldspan Dragon or stuff like that. You have Briarbridge Tracker in here, which fills a couple different roles. So it's a good 3-drop. Could trade with a lot of the small stuff. Provides you clue tokens, or investigate. Yeah, investigate creates clues, which then can be sacrificed to draw cards. But those treasures can also be tapped to Galazeth to play instants and sorceries. You have a lot of early interaction with like Flame Blast Bolt, Voltage Surge, you can sack that token, some Fading Hopes, some counters mixed in there, iterations, stuff like that. If you're going to be bringing this to best of 1, I would probably say skimp on a couple, probably like the Bankbuster maybe, and like one counter spell just for like Dragonfire or something, just because it's typically more creature based, the format. But otherwise, what you want to do with this deck is get a bunch of mana, create Titans, and then copy Titans, or copy Goldspans and just go crazy with that. Your sideboard is going to be just some more cheap interaction. You have some counter spells versus the big mana decks. You see Spell Pierce, Disdainful Stroke, Negate. You have Dragon's Fire, some removal for the grindier matchups. You have Bankbusters. You have a Tangletrap, so Tangletrap, Hinata has flying, Goldspan has flying, Rafine has flying, so a way to deal with that. Just more situational counters, a Sweeper and Burn Down the House in the counterspell heavy decks. Hullbreaker Horror kind of breaks that. If you're playing against another blue-based deck, they're going to bring in Disdainful Strokes, which hit all your top end. Well, this Hullbreaker Horror says, ha ha ha, I don't care. And then Koma is another uncounterable, indestructible threat. So it's like, you just bring in different chunk. If there's not a lot of things to blow up, you can kind of get rid of Titan, bring in this as a clean swap. So yeah, that's the Temur list that you see here. Up next, Jeskai Hinata. So this is kind of like arguably the best deck in the format. Like this has a slightly better win rate, percentage points, but on all the MTGO leagues, everything like that, this deck seems to be just crushing folks. And this is so basically Hinata reduces the cost of the spells you cast at target. Opus targets a whole bunch of things, so this effectively could cost 2 mana in this deck. You're going to generate a bunch of treasures, you have a lot of cheap interaction. March of Swirling Mist, basically with Hinata out, just costs blue, because each thing you target costs 1 less, so it's just a really cool kind of synergy-based card with the Hinata deck. Card Advantage, Expressive Iteration, recently banned in Explorer, and Pioneer does a whole whack. This gets played all the way back to Vintage and Legacy, so very good card. And very similar kind of idea, cheap removal when needed, counter spells, Stowaway for kind of card advantage, Bankbuster, some stances for protection, Seismic Wave for weenies, some card advantage choices, and a Hullbreaker Horror for the counter spell. So very kind of similar board plan to the Temur deck, just in the Temur deck you get like the bigger chunk in Koma. Then we have Esper Midrange, a deck that was very heavily played at the latest set championship. So this is a black-white splash blue deck, and you're splashing blue predominantly for Rafine. So kind of the axis of the meta is like you're either pretty much on a Fable the Mirror Breaker deck or you're on a Rafine deck, and that's kind of your shell of what you're building around. So Rafine kind of churns through your deck, finds you key answers, buffs your squad, gets rid of redundant effects. You have the ability to bin stuff like Tenacious Underdog that comes back for value from your graveyard. Lots of strong planeswalkers in this deck. Wedding Announcement for tokens, like Versus, Infernal Grass, Meat Hook is just great removal, and then like Utility Lens out the wazoo. Your sideboard, for mono white, Rafine decks, so kind of the mirror, you bring in Raise. Disdainful Stroke for what we see in these first 2 decks. Also notably Rave Enfeeblement is a technically 1 mana answer for Hinata, but you have to pay the extra tax. So hits that. So counter spells, grind value, extra sweeper against like Jeskai Storm or any deck that's looking to play multiple spells. Ruins, Arcan's very good. Liaisa for the more aggressive decks or ones with heavy removal. And then another copy of Lulth is more of a grind style card. So it won't do like a straight like take out this card, bring in this card for each matchup. It's more just kind of to get you in the theme of like, okay, in this type of matchup, this is what I want to bring in. This is what I want to take out type thing. And then lastly, we have Grixis Vampire. So it's kind of the theme. This Fable card might be decent. So another card from the set championship. Really looking to leverage Evelyn as kind of a card advantage engine that doesn't get hit by Vanishing Verse. Corpse Appraiser eats away at the graveyards and then also gives you some card advantage. You got your Blood Ties, you got Valky in here, some Underdogs, Kaido for card advantage, a whole bunch of removal like Voltage Surge, Infernal Grasp, Soul Shatter. So just a bunch of like utility spells. Like as an example, if I want to build this deck, I'm missing 3 Xander's Lounge. And like I said, with the collection syncing, you can see, okay, I need 3 rares to build this. I have 30 in stock. And then just kind of continuing the theme. We have some counter spells. This comes in like the Ruins style matchup. It's actually pretty decent against this Esper midrange. They got like 6 enchantments. They might bring in like Bankbuster, Meat Hook. But kills the Ruins deck. Duresses, Raise, so kind of the same theme. Mind Flayer really good against like Ruins style strategies or like a big, like let's make a buff creature style approaches, steal it, smack them with it while you're hitting yourself. But yeah, so that's kind of like the go-to kind of pillars of Standard right now. Let me know what you think, what you've been playing. Like I said, I always include my deck lists or my profile if you want to see what I'm playing. I haven't been playing much Standard, but you can see recent decks I've played, rates. You can do this also by like events. If you want to see like what I'm playing in events, very good in Alchemy. Alchemy's fun. Like if you have the wild cards, if you don't care about the economy, whatever, it's actually a very fun format right now, as much as they've kind of shit the bed in terms of execution, which is unfortunate. It's actually got a lot more diversity right now, I'm finding, than Explorer, especially in Best of One, where it's just do beat Greasefang or do not beat Greasefang. But yeah, you can kind of go from there. Like it tracks everything. Even I was playing in the qualifier play-in with mono red, so I had a couple close ones in there. But yeah, that would be the event. Or the video. Like I said, if you can, drop a subscription from YouTube. It's free, lets you know when I go live with any of these videos. And if you can, drop a like and comment on the video as well. It goes a long way of helping out the channel, and it costs you nothing. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one, and we'll be back for the other formats.